Welcome back to another episode of Canadian Stacker. I was going to do a live video today to talk and chat with you guys, but for some reason or another, my cell phone service is completely messed up. And today's video is going to be about the wildfires in Quebec and some tips that I've learned about dealing with the situation. Now, normally you can see in every direction out on this bridge for at least a kilometer or two up and downstream. Right now, it's all grayed out. The smoke is just unbelievable. It's like breathing in a campfire. Like, the fumes are really bad. From what I've been told, it's 200 times the safe breathing limit for health standards. So it's pretty lousy. This is the Fort Collonge River in Davidson, Quebec. I'm on an old railroad bridge that's been converted into a snowmobile slash bike path for tourists. I drove out and walked out to the bridge, and I was really looking forward to basically just sharing the scenery with you, because it's pretty outstanding. And I wanted to talk to you about some tips for prepping. And I wanted to specifically touch on, well, one, forest fires. I'm 45 kilometers from the fire. I drove up the other day to help some friends of mine save their furniture from their cottage. I got within 10 kilometers of the fire, and you could see the glow on the sky and the ash raining down, and you could feel the pull of the air going towards the fire even from that distance. Like, right now, the fire is generating its own literally its own atmosphere. We've got like some pretty windy, breezy conditions. The fire is that way, about 50 clicks into the bush. It's a pretty big fire. When I looked online last, it was about 5.5 kilometers wide, burning basically straight towards me because the wind's blowing in my face right now as we speak. I'm hoping that we get some rain in the next few days to knock it down. The Quebec government said that they're not going to be fighting this fire actively with firefighters, as the province has got so many fires that they're only dealing with active fires that are threatening local communities and not just cottages. And well, 50 kilometers or so is quite a long way from here, but the fire is moving, and we're all concerned here, but we're making do. Today the kids had to stay inside. Now, what are these tips that I wanted to talk about? Well, I took the opportunity, because you can smell the smoke. It is unbelievably thick. It's so bad, in fact, when it gets really thick, you cough on it. I have to clear my throat quite a bit. And if you're not sitting inside your vehicle and you're exerting yourself, it's hard on you to breathe when you're exerting. You can actually see a haze. It's like a fog, but it's consistent. There's no cloudy banks to it that are thicker. It's just one solid fog. We had some rain come into the area for a total of maybe 15 minutes, and it was a pretty intense wind that came through with a little bit of rain. It knocked some trees down, knocked the power out, something I was trying to figure out was, what can I do to take advantage of the situation? Like, I know that it's a forest fire, and the last thing you think about is, how can I learn from this experience? Now, it's not near me, it's 50 kilometers away. I'm not going to sensationalize it, but what could I do to learn? Well, there's a prep I've always wanted to check and see. Is it good enough? Am I good enough? And that is my nuclear preparedness. Now, we all live in, strange times, and things are going on right now around the world that are kind of scary. And I started doing a little bit of extra prepping, I prep some sodium iodine pills, the real ones, not the fake ones that you get, but the actual real genuine stuff. I'm a big proponent of watching Canadian Prepper. I like him a lot, and I enjoy listening to Nate. And one thing I've always wondered is my home good enough? If there was a small detonation, and it was a livable detonation, what would it be like for me? So I took it upon myself to close all my windows in my home and basically find out whether the smoke was penetrating my house or not based upon the smell. And I used my I have basically a chemical mask that I put on. I use it for spray painting in the paint booth, and doing stuff around the home, and I put it on my face. And of course, you cannot smell smoke when you're breathing in. A good mask, you shouldn't be able to smell any smoke coming through it. That's how you know it's a pretty decent mask. Mine is N99.94, I think, equivalent. So it blocks, out of every 10,000 particles, 6 get through on average. So what did I do? I wore this mask, and I breathed into my home, and I took it off, and I could smell smoke. I could smell smoke. So if I can smell smoke in my home, that tells me I have penetration into my home. And if there was fumes during a nuclear incident, they would be penetrating my house, and I would be inhaling nuclear dust. So that told me that my prep that I was prepared for, on the base level of my home was insufficient, the exterior walls to my home. So I closed up everything, I buttoned it up, and my room, that's my safe room that I can go to, that I have no chance to get out to get to my bug out location, is my bathroom. It's surrounded by 25 feet to the nearest exterior wall. There is about 4 or 5 inches of thick material like drywall and brick. And then there's a 20 to 30 year foot dead air gap. And I've got 20 feet above my head, and I've got layers above my head. And around my primary room there, I have all my heavy furniture all the way around it. It's always like that. So I went into the room, and I closed up the bathroom doors, and I put on a filter in the room, like one of your carbon filters. And I tried sucking all the smoke out of the room and everything. And I took my gas mask off, and lo and behold, what did I discover? I could lightly still, even in that room with my charcoal filter going and everything, I could still lightly smell the smoke smell. So that tells me that I have air penetration into my core room, that in a sugar hit the fan incident, what value does it have? I realized that dust penetrates my bathroom, location. You got the, like the HEPA filter hooked up to the battery backup, running, trying to clean the air. And, you come to find out that, your environment is compromised by dust particles. So like everything that they talked about on all those prepping channels about making sure your location is ready, well, I found out yesterday morning and today that basically my prep is insufficient for a fine dust of radioactive particulates in any way, shape, or form. So my location is yes, it provides, I would say, a minor protection. Like maybe equivalent on those pages where you look and you go, how many layers of protection do I have? A high-rise apartment building, in the middle of the building, you got 300. I did my calculation. My bathroom has about 40, but once again, it doesn't have any of that heavy protection to dust. So something I would strongly recommend to all of my silver stackers who are still listening, and all of my people that are subscribed, and all the people that enjoy my content and enjoy the scenery. I just wanted to tell you my experience, and let you know that maybe your prep in your home might not be up to the task. So like I was saying, I think I'm about a 30 rating. So if it was a high contamination event, I would fail. That would be it for me. So like I have determined that my home is only good for a low incident, like a strike a fair distance away, and the fallout's not too great, and maybe I'd be okay in my house. So my preferred bug out location is by far better. So if I have any chance of getting to where I'd rather go, I should leave, because my house has proven to me that in a dust-filled radiological event, that I do not have any ability to protect myself or my family for any length of duration aside from a short period of time. Like I would use it to hope that it's not a really bad event. So I just wanted to share that with you. And as for this fire, the smoke is unbelievable. Something I did not prep for. I didn't prep for a forest fire and the smoke. So I'm keeping my kids indoors. I'm running my air conditioners on low just to filter the air. I've got my charcoal filters installed. I do have some of those to cycle out the air. And the inside of my house is air quality. The HEPA filter is not like going nuts, but it does say that my particulate count is high. So, that does somewhat concern me. But like my wife said to me, should we mask the kids and all that? And well, I read that if you're healthy and all that, that this should be fine. So I'm just going to stick with that. So I just wanted to share with you today this bridge. This is the Lachine Province, Quebec bridge. It was built by Dominion Bridge Co. Limited back in 1887. The plaque is up here, probably reversed in the video. But anyways, yeah, this goes to the old Bryson Mill in Davidson, Quebec. It's an old mill that used to be the primary hub for manufacturing wood in this part of Canada. All the wood was ferried downriver to Ottawa and obviously, you know, distributed through the empire because we were part of the British Empire at the time. And the pine, white pine, was sold around the world from this location. This was an incredibly wealthy location a long time ago, and I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the history of this bridge and part of the location of where I live. And yeah, today's video is primarily just a bit of an eye candy slash a bit of a prep video that I wanted to share. You know, I wanted to take the opportunity to, you know, talk a little bit about my prep, a little bit about my community, and a little bit about, you know, where I live. You know, everything can't always be 24/7 about silver. It just does not make sense. Like, I'm a stacker and my channel is Canadian stacking, but it doesn't say Canadian silver. It's Canadian stacking. You know, this is just some of what I do, and you know, I hope that my community enjoys the video. But one thing I did want to touch base on is this Saudi Arabian oil cut that they're talking about. It's made big news that Saudi Arabia has decided that they're going to cut by over 1 million barrels of production. It's going to drive up the price of oil. I want to remind every person that's listening to this channel right now that oil prices were over $125 back. I can't remember the exact date, but, you know, 2011, 2012, you know, we had $125 oil before. This is not uncharted territory. And all these hype channels, it's just unbelievable, the mayhem. Like, the country's going to implode because of, you know, possibly $100 a barrel, $110 a barrel, $120 a barrel. Well, I want to address some reality on this. So, we had over $120 a barrel American oil. Like I said before, back when Stephen Harper and Barack Obama were in office. I think Barack was in his last term, second year or something like that. And, you know, that's a long time ago. We're going back quite a ways for the young people that are listening to my channel, anybody 30 and under. You know, the Barack era seems like forever ago for you. For my older listeners that are in their 40s, you know, like, that just feels like yesterday to us. And for my even older preppers, you know, 50 pluses, you know, you know, it just doesn't seem like much, and our memories are a little better. But what does this mean? Well, how much inflation have we had since 10 years have gone by? If we go with the inflation rate that they talk about, which is 2% on average, and it was 2% on average for 8 years, that's how many percent, right? That's 16. And then we had, according to the government, 8. And according to the government, 8. So 16 of 16 is 32%, okay? We've had 32%, but that's also compounded inflation. So it's more like 36, maybe 37%. So that means $120 oil, even at $120, is 30% plus less on inflation, like all the adjusted inflation, adjusted everything. So that means that technically $120 oil is like 90 bucks, 85 bucks back, you know, 10, 12 years ago. So do I see a big effect from this? Sure. For the European allies, I hate to break it to you, get ready for some more hardship. For America and Canada, we produce our own oil. Our biggest concern is like our federal, provincial, state powers doing tax hikes, you know, and taking advantage of us that way. In Canada, we have some of the highest fuel prices in the history of Canada right now. Where I live, it's over $1.60 a liter. Now, if we look at that compared to back in 2012, when oil was back over $100 a barrel, the price then was $1.07. So why is the price difference so drastic? It's not just inflation, it's taxation. So here in Canada, they've been applying the carbon tax provincially and federally now for years. years. And this has caused the price of fuel to go up. Now, the government's going to blame it on greedy corporations. Sure, to some degree, greedy corporations. But the greediest corporations of them all are, well, our overlords, state, provincial, federal overlords, and their tax burdens. And what's going to really bite us in this is the taxes have put our fuel prices already higher than they've ever been. And the fuel has not reached historic highs yet. So what does this translate to? Well, let's say the fuel goes up to 125 from, I don't know where it is right now. I haven't really looked, but let's say $85. It's probably somewhere around there. You're talking 35% more money in fiat terms to buy the oil. What's that going to do at the fuel pump? Well, here I expect to see $2 a liter. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. Maybe $2.10. What does that do for me? Well, it makes it so that $40, rather than buying, let's say 25 or 30 liters of fuel, I'm only going to get like 20. So I got to put an extra $8 in my fuel tank every time I put $40 in. So I'm paying 50 for 40, or I'm paying 53 for 40. And I'm doing that every week. I'm doing 55 or 60 a week into my fuel tank instead of 40 a week. So the inflation for me personally is going to be directly felt almost instantly at $40 to $50 more a month. And then that's going to transition into your food bills. That's going to transition into everything. But all that's going to do is increase the inflation rate. So that inflation rate is going to go back up to 8-10%. That's what this means. So is it devastating? It's bad. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's bad. But is it going to crush me? Maybe in 2 or 3 years if I don't get a pay raise. It might start to cut in and chip away at my fiat money that I have, to the point where I can't go out and buy silver, and maybe I might wind up not being able to eat out food as much. And yes, it's going to lower my standard of living a little bit, but it's not going to crush me. 10% inflation for 3 years is not going to crush me. I'm not rich, but I'm just being honest. 10% inflation is, bad, but in 2 years of 10%, it's not going to crush me. I think there's a lot of FOMO going on. Yeah, the oil is going to go up. The stock market's going to have problems. All this stuff, but stock only affects 1% of the population badly, and that's the 1% of the population that are completely invested in it and they're rich. Okay, the average people that have their 401ks and their stock portfolios, they're going to lose 30%. It's going to be bad. Maybe they're going to lose 40%. It's going to be bad. But we've done this before. We did this in 2008. We did this in 2020. I don't remember what the drop was. We did this in 1999. There have been these 30, 40% pullbacks. Ever since the Federal Reserve's inception back in 1913, there have been booms and bust cycles about every 20 to 40 years. Now, I've heard this is the Shemitah. This is the grand poobah of all cycle jubilees. And sure, maybe it is, okay? And maybe we're going to crack and we're going to crash. But if you're prepped, one, you got food, water, barterability, all those things that you're supposed to have and in your prep, and you've got that put away. You are ready. You like if you don't have 6 months of food put away, and you've been prepping and stacking for two years, and you don't have 6 months of extra food in your house, I'm talking 6 months of basic necessities, and if you don't have like an alternative fuel source, like like propane heat in case your hydro goes out, or you don't have a wood stove or something, and you've been prepping for 2, 3, 4 years, you need to step up your game, because I think within 6 to 8 months, things are going to start to get hard. Now, this whole thing that's happened in Russia with the hydroelectric dam, that changes nothing. Nothing. Yes, the Russians are going to get meaner. Yes, everything is going to go more poorly in the Ukraine, but it doesn't change our prepping strategy. We have to step aside, think logically, rationally, and prep what we need to prep. We don't want to panic and not stay focused on the task. And the task for us is to make sure our preps are ready, make sure our money is outside of the fiat dollar system, and make sure that we are in the right place spiritually. So for whoever is listening, spiritually is whatever you believe. I'm not going to force my values on anyone. I'm not even going to talk about my values. Anybody who's listening to my voice probably knows that I have a calm demeanor to me to a certain degree. I'm not saying that when the push comes, if I had to make those hard choices and that time came, would I be hard and ready? I don't know, but I'd like to think I am. So for you listening right now, make sure you get your house in order. Get your preps ready. Make sure you got your dry powder in case there's a pullback. It's something you can take advantage of. Get out of debt. Debt is slavery, okay? So if you have a $5,000 credit card bill, that is your priority. If you have a $5,000 car note, that is your priority. If you have outstanding monies owed to the government in the form of tax debt, that is your priority. You need to beat those up while prepping for food. So prep food, beat up your debts. That's the number one thing. Then after that, you worry about other things like, making sure that you've got maybe some prep tools. Maybe you've got a little bit more silver or gold put away. And, you work on it that way. This is a long video. My goodness, I just realized it's been 20 minutes I've been talking. And I want to upload this and not bore you all to tears. So, once again, Canadian Stacker. I really appreciate everyone that made it to the end of the video. If you could click like, share, or subscribe, that'd be great. This is all for entertainment purposes. I am not a financial advisor. I can't give financial advice. I don't have that college education. So, take this with a grain of salt. Do your own due diligence. Check into everything. And once again, everybody, put your thumb to the sky and stay happy. Life is short. Woo, a little bit of a hole in the decking. Life is short. Don't live in fear. Fear is Dune says it best. Fear is the mind killer. Don't let fear cloud your judgment in your decision making. Use your discernment as a smart human being and do what's right for you. And be happy for you and be happy in what you do. Notice I didn't use the word be happy in your work, because that's pure silliness. Be happy in what you do for you, because when you're doing it for you, it's not work, right? It's only work when you let your mindset go to that. So do what is right for you and do it to the best of your abilities, okay? So like I said earlier, until next time, like, share, and subscribe this video. And once again, keep your thumbs to the sky and stay happy, okay? Until next video, have a great one. I hope to have an update on that GAW video there probably the next couple of days. I'm hoping for the smoke to clear to make a nice video. So stay tuned 2 to 3 days and we'll have something up, okay? Worst comes to worst, I'll film it live stream right in my little 10 by 10 room with a pile of silver on the table, and we'll have a good chat. So until then, have a great day.